Welcome back to a Screenwriter's Journey, day 192. Oh, it's so weird. I'll tell you why in a minute. So, today in the writing world was February 5th. Today in the present day is March 19th. I think I'm getting behind in uploading these for reasons that, excuse me, the reason is that really no one is watching these. So the deal is I'm really doing this. I mean, I've invested so much time in it. This is going to sound weird. I've invested a lot of time in this, so I want to finish it, but I don't want to finish it just for the sake of finishing it and doing a crappy job or skipping some of them. I mean, I committed to it. I want to finish it. I'm going to finish the script and it's going to be awesome. Someday you'll watch this and go, wow, he spent a long time writing that script, but it sure was worth it. The odds of that are maybe not staggeringly high, but probably extremely high. Let's be realistic. But I'm going to do it because I started out and I want to finish it. And if I gave up, I would feel like a creep. So I'm going to continue writing. However, there are still quite a few, I don't know about dark days or fruitless days, because even when you write something crappy, you're learning something. I think we can all agree on that. So it seems like I spend a lot of the time in these commentaries kind of pseudo-apologizing or self-deprecating. And that's really not my intent, but I think the reason I do that is, well, I don't think, I know, is because I don't want to come across like a pompous, not really know-it-all, but just someone who thinks because I took the time to do this, someone owes me the honor or whatever of taking their time, his or her time, to watch these. And whether you've watched one of them or 191 of these, which is highly unlikely, when I say I appreciate it, that is super sincere, even if it doesn't always come across that way. So the deal is that in the present day, I got a little jolt of excitement a few days ago because I thought of something related to the script. So in that way, it is a little, it's not strange, weird, odd, or it feels kind of, I don't know. I'm looking back at this stuff, which I don't know how much of it I'm going to keep or how much of it is going to change because of my idea. And yet it's all part of the journey. So, excuse me, I sort of feel compelled. Well, I'm not compelled, but what I talked about earlier, I'm going to do this because I said, and whether you watch it today or never, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter to me, but I'm going to do it anyway. So let's get into the actual commentary. All right. So wow, it's on page 75. Ooh, boy, I didn't realize 3 vacant cabins. Oh, wait a minute. Grabs a map out of this. So, clearing in the woods. First cabin unfolds an extra. Says I like to. There wouldn't be a. Oh man, this is an old version. So the helicopter has come and gone. They've gone to this Eagle Bend Park or Bear Creek Park or whatever it's called. Not the Big Eagle Creek or the Eagle Escape, whatever. They're at the Beaver's Bend, I think it's called. And so they've flown the helicopter here, the bad guys, and they're basically here waiting to get the go-ahead to go to the airport. And the reason, the rationale for them not going directly to the airport is that they would have to wait for 2.5 hours for Nick Salerno and his henchmen, if he's bringing any, to get there. And I think Rachel feels like they would just sort of be sitting ducks. And so they're going to these cabins. Now, having said that, she has already alerted. Um, it's kind of a conundrum. She's told Holly, given her this clue, and so Holly and company are coming to find her. So people would ask, well, why then wouldn't she go right to the airport and tell Holly she was there? Because my my thinking there is that maybe Holly would get suspicious, although I don't know, that's kind of a thin excuse. And so I believe the bottom line is that as I continue to write this, I am increasingly realizing that it may not hold up. And just like when you're working on a project, you're digging a ditch, you're working on your computer, you're doing anything, and you just get super involved in it. And it's that old, you can't see the forest for the trees. So you just come in and you write, and you are working on your dialogue and working on whatever. And then you've got to step back and say, wow, I did a lot of work, and I don't know that it's entirely worthy of keeping. But you've got to get in there and do the work, because if you just stand there looking at the hole and never digging in it, it's not going to get it any deeper, which may be a good thing if you're digging in the wrong place. But the point is, you have to do the work to know if the work is good or not. If you just think about doing the work, then the work will never get done, good or bad. And I think there are, I'm not going to say a lot of writers, but I would guess a fair amount, maybe not, I don't know, that think about doing the work and plan to do the work and maybe start on a few pages of the work, but don't really dive in and get in the hole and do the dirty work. And then whether, that's a week or a month or 6 months, or in my case, 192 days and counting. And then the question is, how often do you step back and examine the work you've done, or how soon do you send it out to someone? Or, on the screenwriting Facebook page, a lot of people will post pages, and I don't spend much time reading them because A, most of the time they're not good, and B, even so, there's a lot of other people commenting, and even if you do comment, is it really going to matter? Not that I wouldn't do it because it didn't. And if someone asked me to read, if they specifically knew me and said, hey, Jack, would you read the first 10 pages? Would you read my script? I would definitely do it. And I've read 100, 200, 300 scripts. I don't know. So it's not like I wouldn't do it. The point is that it seems to me that if people did a lot more writing and a lot less checking Facebook and diddly-daddling and thinking about writing and imagining what it would be like to write a script, there would be a lot less posts on a lot less pages, and a lot more scripts would be written. The question is, would they be any good? The answer is maybe marginally better than they already are. And I'm talking about the whole universe of scripts. I don't know that today, if 10,000 scripts were written 50 years ago and 10,000 scripts were written today, it'd be very interesting if some group could read all of those scripts, which obviously they couldn't, and then say good or bad, or give some percentage of how many were good, or give them a score. It would be super interesting to see how people would rate them. And so, in other words, are all these courses that are being taught and the workshops and the books that are being sold, do they result in better scripts? That would be super interesting to find out. Maybe, you know what I should do? No, because I was going to say it would be fun to do a podcast. I should look and see if there is a podcast on screenwriting. Ooh, maybe that's a very interesting thought, Jack. Although without seeing the screenplay, I mean, I could just sit here and commentate, sort of like I've done before, but I never got that big of an audience. Although they wouldn't have to be live. Pardon me while I think out loud. Would there be an audience for that? to really dig into either produced scripts or somehow commentate on them. What I was going to say is I don't have the track record or the gravitas, and I think it would be extremely hard to find successful screenwriters. I'm going to look and see if there are any screenwriting podcasts. I'm sure there are. I got a Facebook message from someone the other day who just started I don't know if I'd call it a business or a service, where you submit a script and it gets read by, some sort of professional actor or person, and then it gets released. And I don't know if it gets sent or pushed out or distributed to supposedly, production companies or someone. And I mean, in theory, it's kind of a good idea. The problem is, I guess the good thing is that, an agent, a reader, or someone could listen to it while he or she is driving somewhere or working out or exercising, which is kind of the same thing, as opposed to just sitting and reading. But good readers can read way faster than you can listen, even if you go up to 1.5. And I don't know that you'd want to go to 2 times, but 1.5. I listen to a lot of podcasts on 1.5, or books on tape, as they're called, although they're not on tape anymore. So that's one limiting factor. The second is, I think as people read, they usually take notes. And if you're listening to it, if you're working out or driving, you're obviously not going to take notes unless you've got a little audio recorder, which I don't know that you would. And the other thing is, who's going to read the script, and are they going to do voices? How good of a, voice actor is this person? So it's kind of an interesting idea, but I'm not entirely sold on it. But I am going to look into that podcast thing. I mean, to get the word out, well, it'd be easy enough to get the word out, but who would listen unless I had guests? I'm going to have to think about that. Wow. Well, I mentioned that I wasn't going to comment a whole lot on the script, and I guess I've stumbled into a way not to do that by talking about other stuff. So I have made some headway here in terms of this day's worth of writing. Lost directions. So there's a little clever, funny, hopefully maybe between Holly and Hogan, when Hogan went up to that house, and it was some lady who was basically inviting him in, and he turned her down. And so, I mean, it's one of those things. It's a scene I just thought of, and oh, that'd be kind of clever. And so I write it, and then it's one of those where you give it a day or 3 or a week, or you come back and you go, wow, that does not work. Or, hey, maybe I could tweak it a little. Or, hey, it's good just as it is. So, I don't know. That's one of those things. You may not think of it when you're writing your index cards or whatever, but if it pops into your mind, it's usually, to me, it's worth writing, as opposed to saying, well, that might work, but I'm not going to even try it. So that is day 192 in a nutshell. Thanks for listening. Watch, and bye.